So hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the major genres, which is drama. Uh, Before we start, let us do away with the definitions related to this material today. Drama here is regarded as a genre of literature. So be careful not to mix it with one of the film genres, which is the drama types of films that you watch. You know, the romantic ones, the ones that has less action and focus on the character development, etc. So we are not talking about the drama genre in film. We are talking about drama as a genre of literature. Perhaps the closest the closest term of it in Indonesian is theater. So we are talking about that, not the film genre. So again, let's just continue with the next term which we use, which is play. This is a piece of work in the drama genre of literature. So to think of it like a poem is a piece of work in poetry, a play is a piece of work in drama. So we're this is the terms that we use. Yeah, play. Uh, so please do not confuse it with something else. And also the word theater. The word theater can sometimes refer to drama in a way, but only sometimes. It can also refer to the place where a particular play is performed. It can also refer to a place like a movie theater, which is where you watch films. This is, of course, in the American or the US English. So be careful not to mix these three terms. And then we shall continue the dramatic or the performing arts as a definition. Combine the verbal, the text, with a number of non-verbal or optical visual means, including the stage, the scenery, the shifting of scenes. Scenes is a part of a play. Facial expressions, gestures, makeup, props. Props and scenery is almost the same. The scenery is the backdrop. Perhaps if a particular performance tells that it is done in a garden, so to say, the action as described in the text of a play says that a particular dialogue happens in a garden, for example. So you have the scenery perhaps painted on the background like a garden. But the props are actually the things that the actors will use. For example, in that garden, character A will sit down on a chair. The chair is a prop, while the scenery is almost like the things that the actors and actresses do not interact with. Props are the things that the characters will interact with, usually pieces of furniture, or it could also be considered as the clothings, costumes that they wear, and also the specific items that are needed for a specific part of the play. And also lighting. Lighting does not only mean to make the stage bright. Lighting can also be used to highlight, to show some things, and to set the mood. For example, if you have blue lighting, the stage will look a bit cool, more cool. You have a cool atmosphere. However, if you put in red or bright yellow in high intensity, it can turn to showing something evil, for example, or actually making the place look hotter. Aside from just lighting up the stage and allow the audience to see the action on the stage. Now, let us move on to the types and history of drama. The English literature usually draws a lot from the classical Greek drama. This is written from the 5th century, with the ancient Greek civilization. So it emphasized serious tragedy over light comedy, achieving catharsis. A tragedy is defined as a representation of an action that is heroic and complete. So, heroic means that you can learn something from it. Complete means it is not the whole plot, so to say, the whole story starts to finish, and people can digest that, which represents men in action. So it does not show passivity, it does not show people passive, it shows heroism. And it does not use narrative, meaning that they do not describe things, they just action. If you ever see a script for a play, it usually contains mostly dialogue. It does not use description like you would find in prose fiction. You do not find, for example, a paragraph describing a setting, but you would just see 2 or 3 people, or characters in this case, talking. So you see on the stage action. This is the aim, that is the aim of drama. It shows you action, and in this particular case, the type of action which is tragedy. It does not use narrative, doesn't use description, and through pity and fear, it affects relief. So why tragedy is important? Because it gives you a full experience, so to say. So you experience the bad or negative feelings first, the bad and negative emotions, and in the end you feel happy, relief. So that is also one of the reason why it is called a complete one, because it goes through a whole lot of range of emotions, and in the end it tells you, it allows you to learn, and it allows you to be relieved. Now, and then in the end you will experience a catharsis or spiritual cleansing. So it has also, aside from just heroic qualities that you learn, you can also get a spiritual benefit, kind of like a good deed, just by watching the tragedy. So this is the perhaps one of the most ancient one, yeah, tragedy and comedy. But tragedy was considered more important than comedy because of that. Comedy, however, is humorous themes intended to entertain the audience. So you do not have the full range of feelings, you just have entertainment for entertainment's sake. You don't get to learn too much, probably. If you watch comedy, you just feel good throughout watching them. In symbolistic perspective, in the perspective of symbolism, it is like a regeneration. You feel good when you watch. It also includes the theme of the end or the expulsion of winter ending, and now is all the happiness brought about by spring. And usually comedy ends with weddings. It's also a symbolic of the continuation of the regeneration, that people can now start a family. So they regenerate in terms of they create another generation of children. Now, comedy is considered less serious or less important by the Greek philosophers, and afterwards, after the 5th century, you see this little arrow that I put in here. The English literature does not consider periods after that as being important. It is the Dark Ages in England, in the years 1000 until in the year 5th century 600, yeah. The 1st century, the 5th century, and then until 1000 you have the Dark Ages. So most people in England Island, in the island of England, is they're pagans. they're not Christians, so they're basically barbaric at the time. So the development of drama at the time started to become more important again in the year 1100, when Christianity start to be starts to come to the islands and to the English islands, and they gain importance as spiritual ways to spread and to understand Christianity. They are mostly spiritual, very similar to the tragedy of the ancient Greek drama, so you are expected to have spiritual cleansing. But they are mostly what we call mystery and miracle plays. They are religious, they are allegorical or biblical themes that are adapted from the Bible, the Christian Bible. So this is the development of more native English literature, and then drama increases in importance, in significance. That's why I put in the that small red arrow there that goes up. And it reached its peak in the Renaissance era in the year 1500 to 1600, with the gathering of learning from the old Greek plays, or in general the Renaissance that happens in this century allows the English literature to learn from the Greek arts, from the Greek literature. And this brought about, so to say, an increase in the creation of plays and scripts. And we have the most important, probably, figure in the English literature. This is where Shakespeare wrote his plays and published some of his, all of his plays actually. We have the types here: the tragedy and comedy, the same. We have the new ones, which are the history plays, and the pastoral. History plays are usually titled by the name of a king. Example are Richard II or Henry V. Those are the plays made by Shakespeare. And it tells about the retelling of the historical, historical facts, and highlight the important theme in it. For example, Henry V contains a lot about bravery, and contains a lot about how the character Henry is growing into becoming one of the best kings in England. It also has some more retrospective qualities, so that you can look at history and learn how people were doing back then, and then applies to it now. Where are we, and what do we do wrong, or what do we do right, and how we should continue with our lives. So it's retrospective in a way. Pastoral is more to the farming settings, village settings. Yes, those kind of types of drama that took place in a village. The action revolves around natural themes as well. So in the Renaissance, the Puritans, a sect or a part of the English Protestants, becoming a major political and sociological factor in England at the time. The Puritans are so called. They don't name themselves Puritans, but other people call them Puritans because they consider, because other people consider the Puritans to be very, very pure in their religious actions. Of course, that is sarcastic. Other people sees the Puritans as becoming too religious, or consider themselves pure, and the Puritans consider the drama to be something that is sinful. for reasons that we are going to learn later. And the Puritans basically criticized the English church, the English Protestant church, and then they decided to go to the new land, to the new continent, to America, which are basically they're the founders of United States. And that is why in United States the development of plays is very slow, and it started only in the modern era, because most of them are Puritans, or they carry over the Puritan idea that drama performance is sinful, it's a waste of time, and it's part of the devil's work, so to say. So I show here in English literature, the English drama experience a decrease after 1600s. This happens until late 1700s. In the Restoration era, we call it Restoration because during this time there's a lot of upheavals, there's a lot of political troubles in England, that they decided they, at one time, an English, I think he was very heavily influenced by the Puritans, Cromwell, one of the political figure in England, Cromwell, decided to revolt against the English monarchy and basically kill the English king and do away and stop the monarchy from existing. However, in the late 1700s, Cromwell passed away, and so the English people decided they want the monarchy back. So the restoration of English monarchy, the English king, so to say, is happening during this era. So we call it Restoration era. It happens in the late 1700 to 1800, and because the Puritans were already going away to America anyway, so they decided that they want to have the theater, the drama, to go back. And so you have a new kind of drama that revolves around the nobles and the monarchies, and they are more light-hearted, they're more comedy instead of the more serious tragedy or story plays and whatnot. They are called the comedy of manners. So most of the characters are from the well-to-do parts, well-to-do status in English society, like noblemen or even perhaps wealthy merchants, etc. And they happen in a well-to-do setting, like inside a mansion or inside a rich person's house, something like that. It talks about the mannerism, the etiquette of these people. We call that the comedy of manners and the closet drama. And also there is a resurgence of heroic drama, which usually portrays a heroic legend or urban legend. Example at the time was Ivanhoe, but that is a novel, you know. The comedy of manners and closet drama, although they are comedies, they are very well written, very witty. They are full of very smart and intelligent play of words that makes it very funny, but very deep, so to say. A very important the very important playwrights, playwriter, the one who writes plays, we call them playwrights. Let me just put it into writing here. Probably the most important playwright at the time is Oscar Wilde. In English drama, yeah. He wrote a lot of those very interesting pieces, and which is a very good criticism of society and makes us think about a more deeper and philosophical ideas that present at the time. And after the 1800s, we have the modern era right now, and we still see the resurgence or the increasing importance of drama. But we, instead of focusing more on the what you call that, the well-to-do uh, parts of the society, things has become more realistic and naturalistic, and it has taken more of a flavor of social commentary of the societal conditions. Especially you have there the industrial revolution, so society changes a lot in english islands English Isles, and they want to comment on that. And also, the instead of the more what you call that, abstract parts of classical Greek drama or comedy, or even a very abstract mystery and miracle plays of the earliest one, they has now become more down to earth, less spiritual, yeah, more realistic and natural. So this is the stage has become more realistic at this time, which we will talk about later in a bit. And also with the Cold War, after the Second World War, you have the political theater that deals with Cold War ideologies. At this time, there are two competing ideology, global ideology, which is communism and capitalism. And in England, there were a lot of discussion between these two ideologies, which were very the communism gaining a lot of momentum after the World War II, and even until now, one of the largest political party in England is the Labour Party, which is socialistic. So a lot of the after the what you call that, the tragedy, so to say, of the industrial era, where children were forced to work in factories, and a lot of the people who were from villages were displaced, and felt a lot of alienation by the creation of new factories, etc. They wanted to voice their concern through the Labour Party, through this new ideology called communism. And so the theater, the drama genre, wanted to be in that discussion and wanted to talk about that. And also you have the development of the absurd and the expressionist, which is against the realistic and the realistic, more realistic presentation of drama. The absurd and expressionist is a parody of traditional drama types and genre. In a way, it is a return to a more abstract form of drama, which happens in the early parts of the history of drama, of English drama. So it also coincide. Coincide means happens at the same time, and because happens at the same time, and because the development of film, which offers a more cheaper, easily digested, and more realistic medium than drama, the absurd and expressionist want to become more, so to say, more artful. So they don't care about the realism. They want to carry a very philosophical and a very what you call that, to the point discussion of things, which can be very, very abstract. And the absurd and expressionist can look a bit strange, yes, because they want to focus on the ideas and the content instead of the presentation of the performance art in drama. So we will continue with the levels that are present in the drama. So we will continue that in the next video. Thank you.